It is finished. The joy of completion. We live in an era where starting new projects and setting ambitious goals have become a norm, and we all have dreams and aspirations that drives us forward. But dreams alone do not guarantee success. They don't. It is the act of finishing what we start that is where we find true accomplishment and fulfillment. So even if you have those big dreams and those big visions, that's not a guarantee for success. It is finishing it that is where success comes from. I'm talking to you because you know yourself, you never finish anything. You never. You jump from project to project, jobs to job. That's why they will tell you it's a course and you'll believe it easily. There's some of us that begin to think about it ourselves. Am I cursed? Why is it that anything I hold, anything I try to do, this project, I never finish? Any job I'm doing through, I never finish. I get fired or as something. Any relationship, any friendship is like I'm the bad friend, or I don't have good friends, or something just happened and you never finish anything. And I do understand, because sometimes there are some valid pains and disappointments that get you not to finish. There are some ever bad things that happen along the journey. Some real pains and disappointments that happen along this journey, and discouragement that happen along the journey that causes you not to finish. But let me tell you something today. The joy of completion eradicates the pain of completion. Every single pain that you have encountered in that journey, the joy of completion eradicates it. Jesus said it is finished with a relief on the cross. You see, the marathon runner that crosses the finish line, they do that with a smile, no matter the pain that they encountered along the journey. Don't you watch the Olympics? As they're running, the pain is there, but when they get to that finish line, that smile happens. And that's why I said to you guys, the joy of completion will eradicate any pain of discouragement that you've had, any obstruction, any pain, any whatever that has caused you to pause or stop. The problem is, many of us don't have a finish line. We don't. And you've never really thought about this, so I'm going to bring it up for you. That's the biggest problem. You want to get from point A to point A, but you don't know where's your finish line. You have not. So you're running the marathon race without a finish line. Imagine what kind of a race would that be? The journey of life without a finish line. The project doesn't have a finish line. There's no points, there's no sense of accomplishment where you have put in front of you that you are running towards. I want to get this company to this point. You don't have that point. I want to grow this idea to this point. You are missing the point. I want to take this project to this point. Many of us that stop have missed out on the dividends of completion. Many partnerships and friendship has ended without its return because you failed to complete. No journey is a coincidence. No. Even when you get lost, you were meant to know the new road. Did you hear that? Nothing. So that project, that partnership, that friendship, that person that company you are, that business you started, it's not a mistake. Especially if you remind yourself when you are on that track in the first place. Why was I even running this race? Why was I even walking here in the first place? Why was I on this track? Then and only then would you remember or realize that nothing is a coincidence. But why don't we cross the line? For many of us that have a finish line, or should I rather say, why do we stop halfway? Why don't we get to the finish line? It's not working today does not mean it won't work. And that's the reason why a lot of people give up and they never get to that finish line. The first thing is what I said earlier. No finish line, no destination, no end goal. You're just running. So how do you keep running without even having a finish line? Where am I getting to? If a person doesn't see value or significance in a task, they may struggle to find the motivation to complete it. The reason why you're not even motivated to complete what you're doing is because the finish line wasn't there, so nothing was encouraging you to run that race. The benefit of the destination was not clear, nothing meaningful was there. So it can be really, really challenging to drive yourself to see it through when there is no finish line. Now, for some of us who are still running or who keep running, why don't you finish sometimes? It might be attractive distractions. That's what I call it. Everything looks better than what you are doing. Think about it. Every other person's idea looks better than what you're doing. Every other person's project looks better than the one you're doing. Every other person's innovation, a company, looks better than what you're doing. And let me tell you something today. The only reason why they look better is because they are finished. So it's more attractive to you. And then you jump from what you're doing and then say, no, let me start that person's idea and leave mine because it looks better. Or let me jump and join him because that looks better. Or join her because that looks better. Attractive distractions. A better job offer, better income, a travel option, holiday option, something that just looks so attractive that takes away that goal that you've set for yourself. Now, of course, there are also obstacles and life challenges that are a big reason why we don't finish. This could be a form of a heartbreak, emotional traumas, and health challenges that happen. And you go through this, and then it's very hard to pick yourself up again, or even be able to concentrate on that idea when you just had a divorce, or maybe your children are going through a very hard time. Voices are also major reasons that many people don't finish. When you follow every advice, do you know that everyone knows better? And if your voice is louder, my dear, you better listen to it. And do you know that sometimes some people advise you to their advantage because she wants you closer? She said, no, that project is too whatever. And that stops you from what you're doing. Now, listen to this. Too many ideas, can stop you from not finishing. You know, the allure of new beginnings and the glory of new projects, and of course, the fear of failure can entice us oftentimes to abandon our endeavors prematurely. Now, it brings me to self-doubt as well. You begin to doubt your capability. This project, is it not too big? I don't know what anybody might tell you out there, but I tell you this for free. Entrepreneur to entrepreneur, there is no bone too big to chew on the entrepreneurship ecosystem. Chew it. If you cannot bite it, find partners that will bite with you. Have you forgotten when I spoke to you about the power of imagination? If you can't think it and you can see it, go for it. If the opportunities are there, the right partners will come along the way. Procrastination is mostly common. I'll do it later. When is your later? And when will your later be late? Pick it up. I talked to you about the 3 seconds rule. So use it. Poor time management. Because you have a project and you do not sometimes put adequate time or inadequate time. Time itself, managing that time of the project is a big problem for many of us, especially when it comes to delay. When it's not working and you're like, I thought that this idea would rip out in 2-3 years. Now it's not really coming out in 2-3 years. I'm done. I give up. Now let me tell you something. Anytime you doubt the time of your profit, especially when you're planting a seed, find out or ask yourself, what kind of crop did I plant? If you planted a vision that is like a maize, beans that would germinate in months, then it's understandable. You can worry. But when you plant visions like an Iroko tree, a bamboo tree, cocoa, that will take years, timber, to germinate, then you should know that it's not delay, it's a processing time. Some of you have big visions that can never come out in 4-5 years. Never. It is an element of your seed. Never. It's just like that. That's how seeds like that have been programmed. Be careful. Time management. Now we also got distractions and interruptions. Now, world today that is so fast, there's many distractions. Things as small as even social media distractions. All these funny things can stop you from finishing because the amount of time you've invested online on social media looking at useless things has taken the amount of time needed to execute your project. Overcommitment as well is another one. Taking on too many tasks. Committed yourself to this, to that, then you cannot finish any. The entrepreneurs. Do you also know that the fear of failure or the fear of success can also stop you from finishing? Really, like what is really going to happen? How am I going to manage this whole thing? And how is it going to happen? The responsibility that comes with completing this task successfully makes some people fall off the line. And of course, I don't need to explain the fear of failure. It's there, you know you got it. What's going to happen when I fall? I went the wrong direction. What would happen? What would people say when I fail? And then, you know what, let me just rather stop now. I'm talking to you. You can feel it. It's you. And for some of you, it's lack of accountability. You have nobody that you're answering to when it comes to this project. No boss, no employer, no mentor, no partner, no friend that can hold you accountable for this thing and say, no, you didn't finish this thing. Why are you stopping here? No mentor to even push you, no coach. That's one of the reasons. And lastly, let me summarize with this one. Resources of support. Especially when I was in Africa, be it time, money, or even support, emotional support from your friends or family, or the right tools to be able to execute a project, it just gets tiring. No one is looking in my direction no more. Now I'm alone. Everyone has left me. I understand. And because I've shared these reasons with you, that they've been showing up, and for those of you that hasn't showed up yet, they're still going to show up, then you need to brace yourself and focus on the joy of completion. Yes, and that's why I want to share that joy with you. It comes with many other benefits. But before I do that, you remember I said, I don't know how many of you that saw my last caption, that I'm going to reveal a psychological secret that would help us to start completing things. I'm going to share something with you that happens to us psychologically, that God has implanted in us, that helps us to complete this, but you have not triggered it. And that's why you still have that problem. But I'm going to show you and shock you now how yourself fight with yourself with the energy from within that you could use for situations like this. Think about the days where you'll be like, I want to just have a bite of this chocolate. Just a little bite. And before you knew it, you finished it. Remember? It's called this Zeigarnik effect. That thing that happens to you, it's not coincident. It was planted there. It was planted in your mind. I'll tell you another one that you will relate to more. When I try to remember something, does it happen to you? And that thing does not come. Jesus Christ, it can mess up my entire day. I'm done. Like, I have to get this thing out. That's the Zeigarnik effect. It wants to complete that task of remembering this thing before it moves. It's the Zeigarnik effect. Trigger it on your project. You can. Look at that project. Look at that idea and begin to say to yourself, if it's not completed, I'm not going to move to the next one. When you enhance that part of your brain to your advantage, you begin to complete tasks and you'll be able to say, it is finished. You will then get the joy of completion that you deserve and many other benefits. And I'll begin to round up now as I share some of these benefits from the joy of completion. Guys, there's this sense of achievement and accomplishment when you complete things. You call your name with pride that this is achievements that comes with it. When you complete a project, a career, whatever, there's this sense of achievement that you deserve to have it. If you've not attained it in any aspect of your life, you're missing out a lot. What that sense of achievement will do will boost your self-confidence. Because you know now that you can do things till the very end. There's this sense of confidence when you're invited or you call yourself into a project. You believe in yourself more. When you finish things, there's closure. It is finished. Like, I completed this. Nothing is triggering you. Really, you have to go back to this uncompleted project. No, there's that sense of closure and peace of mind that comes. And the composition of all this will enhance your productivity, because the fuel from the motivation that you would get from finishing will increase how productive you are. There's one part as well I mustn't forget. There's validation and recognition. Praise is an accolade. Oh, she was the one that did this. She was the best in this course. You know, the act of finishing what we start demonstrates our integrity and reliability. Some of us are unreliable. You can call me anything, but that's the most painful insult. Do you know what it means by saying you're not reliable? They can't rely on you. Do you know it's an embarrassment to your entrepreneurship career if you're unreliable, even to your customers and your clients? The validation you get from completing tasks on time and professionally is out of this world. Lastly, and this is the one I enjoy the most, appreciation of the process. The joy of completion or completing a task is solely derived from the end results. It also derives from the journey itself. It gives you an opportunity to reflect on the process and the lessons learned, the personal growth that occurred along the way. Honestly, guys, you will appreciate the efforts you put in, the obstacles you overcame, and the skills that you developed. So all these things that you're going through that is hard, is difficult, are what makes up the story that you're gonna appreciate when you start and finish, or when you started with them and you finished with them. The process. Appreciate it. In conclusion, guys, when you finish that major project, you become the star. Your new chapter has opened. Your new life, you have unlocked your real potential, and your new life has just begun. So let us enjoy and embrace the joy of completion. Let us commit to finishing whatever we start, to bringing all projects and ideas to completion. I challenge you today. Let us not shy away from the challenges ahead, because they would come. But cross those obstacles. Remember, it's part of the process. Once again, complete everything so that you'll be able to say, it is finished. Thank you very much. My name is Summy Francis, and I am nothing without God. Thank you.